Hello, welcome to chapter 7 here. Today we're going to be looking at sample statistics versus parameters. Now this is a very big deal. It might seem a little easy at first, but it's very important that you understand the distinction between these two. A parameter is the number that describes a population. In statistical practice, the value of the parameter is not known because we cannot examine the entire population. For instance, if we want to find if the height of every person in Irondale, we cannot measure every person at Irondale and find their height. So that mean of that is the parameter. A statistic is the number that can be computed from sample data without making use of any unknown parameters. In practice, we often use a statistic to estimate the unknown parameter. So using my Irondale example, we don't want to measure every single person at Irondale, so we might take a random sample, an SRS of 30 students, and measure their heights. And then from that SRS, we can talk about our parameter, all of Irondale, but, but our statistic from those 30 students is considered a statistic where the whole school is a parameter. Now there's different notation for each one. The population mean, we use mu. And you've seen mu before when we're talking about theoretical means for like expected value and stuff. And then they have a sample mean, which is x bar. And you should have seen that before too. That was whenever we're taking a mean from a sample. Now, from a population proportion, they use p. And sometimes they use pi for this. Um, but most people just use a p. And the sample proportion is p hat. So that means the percentage of the people in your sample. Um, so think of this as your population is really big, and then our sample is just a small part of it. And we're going to use this small sample to start talking about this whole population. Now, a poll asked 515 people whether they believe in ghosts, and 160 people say yes. So if you divide that out, that is 31%. Is this a population proportion or a sample proportion? Hopefully you guys are saying sample proportion. This is coming from a sample. So we would call this a p hat value. Our p hat is 0.31. Now, if we interviewed a different group of 515 people, would we get the same answer, 160? I bet there might be some variation in that. So when there's more variation, we call that sampling variability. Each sample could be different from the previous sample. So we expect sampling variability because not everything is the same. All right, use this information. Hopefully you can do so on your own.